everybody here on Trading Within the Box on March 14, 2026 here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to go over the weekend, what happened. But first of all, welcome to Trading Within the Box. This is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any stocks, futures, options, Forex, or any kind of stocks. This is an educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional. They will help you there. Execute. So let's go over the S&P 500. We're in a remote location here, so we're on a different computer, so this might sound a little different from the other videos. Hopefully this new microphone works good. But let's get over to the S&P 500, and we got to know what's going on here with the S&P 500. Now, we do have, this is what we're going to be looking at, and let's look at the weekly chart, because on the weekly chart here, what do we have? Okay. Now, we have two sell signals right here in this spot right here. So let's just get the pen out. Right here, okay, and right here, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so see these two capitulation candlesticks right here in the sell area. You got a picking up a volume, selling volume. Okay, so this correction cannot be possibly over yet, okay? We could have a little ways to go down. This is gonna at one point will turn away, not turn back and turn up, even if it's just a bounce back, okay, a snapback, okay. So we do have right in this spot here, we have support, okay, right in that spot. So let's see where that spot actually is. It's 654, 655. It could even be 653-ish, in that range, okay. So we are in that location. Now, when this moving average starts to catch up, okay, so you'll see it right here as it catches up. That's that 50-day moving average. I added also a 200-day moving average in red underneath, but you can't see that right now. You'll see it on the daily chart. So we could be slowly coming to that level, and then we'll see what happens here once we start bouncing back. Are we going to be in a downtrend? Okay, we do have increasing selling volume on the S&P 500. Let's go over to XLF because that's the bank basket, and on the bank basket, here's the deal here. Okay, so we're look at the volume again. Look at the increasing selling volume here. Okay, a lot of people are like, is this over yet? Is it over yet? I don't think so. Okay, look at the sellers and then look at the buyers before the previous week. Okay. So, yeah, look at that area as it's coming down, okay? So, as you're sitting here and you're watching this, you're consistently saying to yourself, is this correction over? The banks lead the way, okay? You have a lot of volume coming down, and a lot of times what happens, always remember what I had told you, that these large candles, these large volume sticks, even if it just tests the top area, okay, they will be tested at one point. Okay, sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 6 months. Now remember, this was last March, okay, last April, I'm sorry, in 2025, okay? Look where we were, okay? And then look at that volume stick right there, okay? If you take the top of that candlestick, you're somewhere in this range, right in here, okay? So you could dip into that area. So let's see what happens once it gets into the height, the top of that candlestick, which will be in that 46, 47 range. Okay. Now on the SMH, you have on a weekly chart holding. Okay, the semiconductors holding. So we have a little bit of a split market here. We have the banks weak. We have the semiconductors still trending possibly down, and we're at support on the 20-day moving average, and it's holding right now. Okay. Let's see if it holds. We'll see if the SMH holds. Now, you'll always know by the indicator before if something's going to happen beforehand by the small caps, which is the IWM, the Russell 2000. Okay, so now on the Russell 2000, you got some large amounts of selling volume in this area. You got a stochastic wide apart heading to the bottom, and you pass the support area. Okay, so now you're into the next support area, which is the 50-day moving average on the weekly chart. So it looks like they're all going to probably tag that area. So we still have a little way to go here on this correction, in my opinion. Okay, at one point we will get better news, and then they'll start popping it back up to the upside. But we want to hope we're not in a downtrend. Okay, on long term. We have an election year and we have a rocky boat here, okay? And then plus what's going on overseas. So that's let's look at the Qs. So there's a lot of turmoil right now going on, and that's why the markets are shaky. So with the three Qs right now, we have increasing volume. Look at the increasing volume on the Qs, and let's get back to the pen here and look at that. You see that? As the volume is increasing, but you have dojis, and on the Qs, they're pretty much holding pretty strong in that area. Now, we were looking at futures, and it looked decent down the road. So we're going to keep checking all that stuff and all the big names of the big stocks. We're at the end of the week, so we check the weeklies first because we want to see what the big picture is going to be, and then we'll see what the small picture is. Now, I want to show you something for Microsoft. Let's go to a line chart here. Now, is Microsoft setting up for the W? Now, remember, if you don't have the market behind you, you're not going to get anything strong to the upside or anything like that, but you might base a little bit. You come down on a weekly chart, you come back up a little bit, and now you came down with higher volume, and you're retesting this spot with lower volume. Okay, so that's something that you're gonna have to keep watching very closely if you're in Microsoft or if you want to get back into Microsoft. Now, this gave an incredible discount. When you were looking at Microsoft, the discount was, look at where you were. You were at like 555 or whatever it was in that range. Actually, let's see what the top was. It was 553.72 and 555.45 on the week of July 28th. Okay, so look where you came down. Look what the low was. On the low, you were down to 381.71. What a discount, right? That's an amazing, amazing discount. So now we're catching up to the 200-day moving average on the weekly chart. So we have another important area right here, okay? And usually we will hold around that area unless this stock is going to completely break down, which I highly doubt. Okay, so that's an opinion, though, and you don't want to just have an opinion. You want to follow the money, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so a lot of people have opinions, and then all of a sudden they base a trade on an opinion, and then that's when the loss of the money comes in. Okay, so now we're coming back down. Let's see what happens when it enters into this area. Let's see what happens when it enters into the bottom of the 392 range or into this candlestick from February 25th of this year. Let's see what happens when it comes into that spot. Okay, now you got a good volume right in this range of. On February 27th, you had some decent volume coming in here. Okay, so you're probably going to get into that range first, and then retest it probably with lighter volume. It's already coming down with lighter volume, so you want to see, and your support areas, those are the areas that you want to get in. Okay, so that's something that you want to mention to your planner. Okay, so now Amazon. Okay, Amazon. Look at Amazon here. Now remember what happened to Amazon. Look at the 200-day moving average. We fell below it. Let's look at the big picture here. Now, we've fallen below it before and then recovered. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here on Amazon. Let's go to the bigger picture and see kind of what's happening with the weekly chart, okay? So let's look at the line chart, okay? As we look at the line chart, we're forming a W, okay? Look at the W formation here, right in this area. See this? Right here, and then retesting, okay? Right in that spot. Now, you have to be careful. Now, at Amazon, I want to look also at the monthly chart because with the monthly chart, let's get rid of this. Look where we are. Okay, on the big picture, we're at the 20-day moving average. We're holding at that spot, okay? We still have wide apart stochastic on the way down, as you see it right here. You see that? Right in that spot, okay? So you still have down pressure. You could go a little lower than this area. Now, if you break this area with high volume, you had a lot of high selling volume on last month, okay? So keep looking and keep watching on the monthly chart and the weekly chart of what is going to happen here. Will it hold in this spot? Now, it could drop lower. It's happened before, where and then we get that capitulation, and then we start going back up again. That happened in last April. last year, as you remember, as most people do remember and will not forget. But look at the weekly chart, how we're below it right now. Now, just keep in mind, and I want you to keep watching that line chart too. If we start getting engulfing with some volume pushing up, we can get a right side of a W here, retest W formation, and we get an engulfing. We could be heading back up again. Okay, so we do have a lot of volume, but we came down with a lot of selling volume right there. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. Okay, and also Caterpillar. Wanted to go over Caterpillar. Now Caterpillar is doing phenomenal. Okay, so it's been doing phenomenal for a while. It's just been a bull run. Look at this weekly chart, and then look at the bull run that it's had, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And every time it goes back to the moving average, they buy it. It goes back to sideways consolidation, engulfing, good volume, boom. They just keep buying. Now this is week by the week. So if you're investing in it, you're going by the week. Okay. If you're trading it, you're going by the 2-hour chart and the daily chart. Okay, that's what you're going to be doing. You'll be watching it on here. Now it's breaking down on the daily chart, but we're at support. So let's keep seeing and keep watching what's going to happen on Caterpillar on the daily chart. Now you're at the 20-day, the 50-day moving average, but you're below the 20, and let's see if we got some pressure to the downside here. Now remember with the weekly chart that you could hit this area into the 683 area. Okay, so just keep watching on the 2-hour chart. The 2-hour chart is going to be your little. Now I added that red line with the 200-day moving average. If you're wondering what that is, okay, I just wanted to show everybody because as we're going below it on certain areas, you have to be careful, okay, and certain time frames, okay. On the 2-hour chart, obviously the daily, the weekly, and the monthly dictate to the 2-hour chart, okay. So let's keep watching, okay. Right now we have a mixed bag of volume. We're coming back with lighter volume here, which is actually a good sign on the 2-hour chart. You're coming back here with lighter volume right in that area. See how right in there, you had some nice volume, okay? So you wanted to retest with the lighter volume. You always want to test with the lighter volume. Okay, so Home Depot, let's also watch Home Depot because that's on our list here. And first of all, let's go to weekly because we're at the end of the week. We want to look at the end of the week, the big picture of what's going on. Now you came down and you're at the 200-day moving average. Now here on it, this is becoming a little bit of a sloppy mess here. So for long-term trading, for 4 to 6, 7, 8 weeks, this is a really good stock to trade. Okay. So let's look at the W formation here. It came down, we had engulfing, and then we came up to the sell area, which was right in that spot right there. Now you're back down to the support where the buy area is again. Okay. Now you came down with higher volume in this spot right here, and you're coming back with lower volume. Okay, and you're testing this 200-day moving average. Now let's see what they do. This is a crucial point. This is where you need to watch really closely on if you're getting back into this. Let's say it's your stock and you're getting back into it. On a daily chart, you got to know that 337.37 in that range. Right now, 339-ish. You're at a support level. You're at a main support level, major support level right here. See it? Right there. Okay? So that's where you want to see what's going to happen. We're going to get a bounce. You want to get the bounce. You want it to come back, and if it holds, and then you got the engulfing with the good volume, you're off to the races again. Then you watch on the 2-hour chart. Then you go over to the 2-hour chart, and you check it out, and you see as we've been shorting it down, you can see it right here, shorting it down 2, 3, 4 peaks. We're at the 5th peak already, so this could be getting a little tired right here, and you're at support. So you want to start seeing this happen where you start trending up, okay, like this on the 2-hour chart. This is what you want to see, the reversal, and then it starts pulling back, holding, and then going up, pulling back, holding, pull back, holding, and it goes up. And that's what you want to see on Home Depot, okay? That's right now we're in a little bit of a pullback, obviously. Well, we had a correction here, so on this one. So next stock we're going to go to is Meta. Let's go to Meta. Now Meta, which is Facebook, okay, let's go over to the weekly chart. Now on the weekly chart, okay, we're about halfway through this video, so we still have a lot to go. We want to go over some defense stocks too, and some oil and silver and all that stuff. So on Meta, okay, now here it is again. Now this is trading within the box, right? This is what I preach. Okay, look how when you go to the support level, but look how you have a little bit of a higher lows here. Okay, now you're sitting again at the same support area. These are major support areas on the weekly chart. These are major areas to watch. See the box right there? Okay, so we could be going sideways for a little while, week by week by week. This could take weeks to go sideways. Okay, so let's go to the daily chart on Meta. And Meta, we're at a support. Now we're at 610.45. There's a little bit of a pop coming. Okay, so you got that right. Unless it breaks. Now it can break. Okay, it could break. But the beauty of this actually is that we have a large buy signal candlestick, volume stick right here. Okay, right up into 738. We want to at this point we want to try to get the trend to change to come right back. It'll suck it right back up to those large candlesticks. And that's what it does. Look how it sucks right down to them. They're magnets. That's where the most trading was, right? Okay. So let's look at a monthly chart, and we're sitting at support. Okay. We're sitting at a major support line. That's a major buy area. Now look at the month of January and the month of November of 25. Those are two huge buy signals on a monthly chart. Okay. There's a buy signal right there, and there's a buy signal capitulation candlestick, capitulation off the 20-day moving average on a monthly chart. Okay. Now you want to see this hold in this area. Okay. You want to see this hold. You want to see this break down. This breaks down, then we're gonna have troubles with Meta. Okay. NVDA, Corporation, still holding its own. Now, some people saying, well, holding its own, it's 180. It was up to 212. In October. Okay, but it's holding its own. It's holding. The market is pulling back in a not a big correction, but a pretty sizable correction. And what is this doing? This is holding right in this spot here, which is a very solid thing. Look how solid NVIDIA is. You go to a weekly chart, and let's stretch her out, and you can see right here. Same type of thing, trading within the box right here. There's your box right there. You got support, sell area, buy area, sell area. So you're coming back to that spot, and you always want to go to your line chart, and you want to see on a weekly chart what the big picture is. Am I setting up for a buy here? Well, we have a V formation, so we want to see it come back a little bit, hold. Let me just draw it for you. We want to see it come back, hold. Want to see it come back, and then boom, you watch closely, and then the trend starts to change back up for another beautiful trade. Okay, remember, beautiful trade right now because things, for long term, we're not really sure what's going to happen here. Okay, let's go over to XOM, which is ExxonMobil, because of what's happening. You can see on ExxonMobil, XOM is the symbol. Look at this run. Now look at this run. This was only from December, okay? In the 117 area, now it's 156, okay? At one point it was 159, okay? So that's something that you're gonna have to keep watching. Now we're hung up here, so we're looking for a little bit of a pullback here on this, but we have to keep watching what's going on. Now money came back in this week, the last 3 days, Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday, okay? So money came back in on the daily chart. So right now for a trade, it looks like the money's coming in. But then we want to see if we can get a pullback a little bit here. But it looks like it's going to go into this candlestick with lighter volume. We'll see how it goes into it, okay, from March 2nd, okay? 160.27 is the sell area, okay? So, yeah, ExxonMobil. Look at this. I mean, because look at this. Now, here's a classic example of sideways consolidation. Look how long this took. By the way, just take a look at this. Okay, really quick. This sideways consolidation started in January of 2023. Okay, but when they break out and you go sideways for that long and you break where all the sell area, where all the shorts are right there, Right in that spot. That's where all the shorts are. What happens? All the short positions turn and go long, and that's when you get that. Okay? That's when you get that. It's why you follow money. And that's what happens. Okay? So now OIH, which is Oil Services, OIH. Okay? Oil Services. Okay, here's another one. This is a beautiful trade. From April of 2025, we were down in this range at 190-ish, whatever it was, and now you're at 371. So that was an incredible sector to get into. Okay, now we got a little bit of hopefully a little bit of a pullback here. So we got some selling volume coming in at this spot right here. Okay, so let's see what they're going to do with the oil services. Okay, the silver, right? Okay. Now, silver, okay? Look at this monster. Let me just show you something here, okay? Now, on silver, okay, you come into this, look at this volume, sell area, sell volume, okay? That volume right there is a magnet. It's going to come right back up to it. Now, we're going to see when it gets up to it, will it, fail and then come back. Now, you're forming a W formation with much bigger volume right in this spot, and you're coming back with lighter volume. The home run is coming. Okay? The home run is coming on silver. Okay? Let's see what happens. Right now, as far as the daily chart goes, let's just stretch her out a little bit. Okay? So here we are just pulling back. Now we're pulling back to the support line at 71.76. Now on the 2-hour chart, okay, we had a break step pattern here. Okay? The yellow is pre-market and the blue is aftermarket. Okay? So we have a step down. Okay, let's see if we keep stepping down here. Now at 70.96, we got a small support area. So let's see what they're going to do at that spot. But the long term for silver is going to be much higher. Also, that is my opinion too. Okay. Now GDX, we got the gold miners. Okay, the gold miners. Now same thing. Okay, let's look at the monthly chart. Okay. Now we needed the discount. We're going to pay up in this range. That 116 is $93 now. So we had to get that little discount. Okay, that's what we wanted. Now we're halfway through the month. So where are we right now? We're at a major support area on the gold miners. Okay. Now we're at 20-day moving average on the weekly chart, which is a major support area at 93.26 close on Friday. Okay, so let's keep watching. We'll watch the daily chart. We have a break step pattern here. Okay, here now look at the break step here. You have the sideways consolidation. You're getting the W, then boom, you got the break step for the short. Okay, now let's see if we're going to actually break this area. Let's see if we can break the support and come down to 83.95. So that's something that we're going to have to also watch very closely on that. RTX. Now we're going to the defense stocks. Okay. On defense stocks, we only have about 5 or 6 more minutes here. On the defense stocks, we're sitting at the 20-day moving average with a indecision candlestick right there. We got a little doji. Okay. And those right there is, that's like kind of resting, right, in that spot. We had the high on this one was on March 3rd, and that was 214.50. Okay, we're at 204.52 on RTX. Okay. Now on RTX, let's look at the weekly chart. Now you knew you came up at 210.18 was a sell area. Okay, a major sell spot right in that area. Now, you do know that right now at $200.60, you have a nice buy area. Okay? Now, it could dip. It dipped here. Look at this one right here on the week of February 23rd, 2026. It dipped below the 9-day moving average. See that? And then the capitulation. Now, you have 2 capitulation candlesticks here. 2. One right here and one right here. Now, zoop, they bought it back. Zoop, they bought it back. You get the pullback. We're going back up. Okay? So, let's see. But, we have to always, we don't just predict. We watch the money coming back in. Now, we're going to know? We know by the smaller time frames if the money's coming back in or not, okay? Now, you have a major support area right here on this 200-day moving average on the 2-hour chart, okay? So, right in that area, you want to see what they're going to do. Are they going to hold it? and then start trend changing up, or they're going to pull it back and retest again. Now they're retesting this right here on a 2-hour chart. They're retesting the 200-day moving average right at this spot right here with much lighter volume, okay, which is a good sign, okay. Now, CRML, actually, wait, TXT, I forgot about TXT. TXT, okay. Now, let's go to TXT. Now we go, my good friend Mike, who's got these stocks, and what are we doing? We're sitting at the 20-day moving average on TXT. We're at 91.05. We came up and we had the high on February 17th at 101.57, okay? So we're sitting in that spot. We have a wide apart stochastic on the weekly chart with downward pressure with increasing selling volume, okay? Let's go to a monthly chart. Now we are pulling back here. So this is not, you want to pull back because you want to get a discount. You want to be able to get back into these things. You need this. This is healthy for a market to pull back. And you know, people that are in it that have no money left to buy, they're sitting there going, oh man, I just got to wait for it to go back up. But the people sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy back at these discounts, they're looking at pretty good right now. Okay, now look at CRML. You know, the natural resource stocks. Okay, now this was, remember what I told everybody. This was, you know, one of those stocks that went up to on October 14, 2025. The high was 32.15. Now remember what I had told everybody. I told you that they were going back up to that spot. They're going to test that area because why? Look at this. Okay, look at these towers right here of volume. Okay, there's on a weekly chart. Okay, now look when it pulled back. It pulled back with no volume. It comes back with a W with a retest. This was a home run. This was a home run trade. Okay, right here because look at the volume. Look at this. You knew it was coming back up into it, but it came up into it with lighter volume. That's why it failed in this spot. That's why it didn't even go up to the top. Okay, it failed, and then you had the engulfing, and you had a shaven bottom, which is very solid for a short. Okay, so now again you're pulling back here again with lighter volume. Let's see if it holds in this spot. Holds again, we'll probably make another run. Okay, that's another good one. Okay, and that's another good one that we continue to keep watching. Let's watch TLT really quick before we go. TLT is the 20-year-old bond, the Treasury bond, and weekly chart, it's selling off again. Okay, the 20-year-old 20 year bond is selling off, and it's very simple that when that happens, the dollar gets strengthened a little bit. Look at the dollar going up, the UUP, okay, in the bullish index for the dollar, okay, going up. Let's look at the VXX, and let's look at the fear. What's the fear in this market? When the VIX is high, that means there's a lot of fear. Okay, that's where those institutions buy. When the VIX is low, that's when they sell, and that's what happened over here in December into January. The VIX was very, very low, and now it's getting high, a little high again. Okay, so when it starts getting a little high, it might go a little bit higher, and then we can get the institutions coming back in and buying again, and that's what usually happens. With that said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe my channel if you like the content. And I hope this helps everybody. Again, have a wonderful week. This is educational video only. Contact your licensed professional to make your trades. And I just hope that this helps everybody. And we'll go over some other different stocks on the next video. Have a great weekend.